Yeah, I think it has started. And mm, so you have all come here. So welcome all students. It is always nice to interact with you. And I hope we are of some help. You are able to uh, progress in your course. So this we are doing MPA 2, understanding man-made disasters. So we had covered one session yesterday. Total 4 sessions will be there. Today is the second session. So anybody remembers or like to briefly tell us what we covered yesterday? Yeah. Who was here yesterday?
I was here yesterday, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Damu.
Yesterday we have covered we try to understand the man-made disaster. We also mentioned so many causes and the types. We also discussed nuclear disaster, chemical disaster, biological disaster. And on the nuclear disaster, we discussed about the Chernobyl incident in the USS Russia then, and now Ukraine. Also, on the chemical disaster, we discussed about Bhopal gas incidents.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, good. That's very nice.
Yes, and we
So,
also discussed all the do and don'ts regarding to all those types of disasters.
yeah. So when we are discussing see, what we are trying to do, we are trying to learn about the management aspects of disasters. So before you can learn the management aspect, you have to know what the disasters are. So we are going through our course is so well designed that it covers the unit one, MPA 1 covered the natural disasters, all the natural disasters. MPA 2 covering man-made disasters. These are the two main classification. Then others are the various other aspects of disaster management. You will go into it. And in for see the others would be common for all disasters. The other courses, MPA 3, 4, like disaster medicine, would be common for all. And in those also specific changes or requirements in say for particular disaster, which may be highlighted there also. So, but these better to know do's and don'ts, and these do's and don'ts keep getting updated. In fact, when we are talking of man-made disasters, yeah, um, Tombe, you are having some problem. Okay, please fix it. Yeah, whenever something can go wrong, it will go wrong. So you have to be prepared for that. Have alternate means. Hmm. You are all using laptops, computer, laptops, or somebody is on mobile also.
I am using mobile phone, sir.
Okay. So you can use whatever suits you, whatever is it. Okay. So today we are covering, or basically yesterday we covered on NBC. Okay. Tambo silver. Uh, good. So yesterday we covered basically first group, let's say, was of nuclear, biological, chemical mainly was there. So now we are trying to, today will be on fires, the fire related building, coal, forest, oil. And if you will see, we are trying to segregate it, but then many times, many things overlap. Uh, Buildings may have coal dump, oil, forests may have buildings in it. Even coal fire generally be covering is mines, but then there'll be buildings there also or structures. So those things are there. But we are looking at the specific aspects of these. So any of you have been experienced into, have you got any seen a fire? I'm sure you would have. Disasters are always commonplace. Everybody tries to avoid, but it's always sometimes the other. Yeah.
Yes, of recent here in the Yola Adamawa state, we have incident of fire.
How big?
Hello.
How big was it?
In Yola Adamawa state, we border with Cameroon
Okay.
in Nigeria. So there is these people who used to illegally transport petroleum products into Cameroon.
Mm-hmm.
So they have all these petrol PMS in tanks, mini tanks,
Okay. The
and they
tanker
went
caught
and
fire.
yes, they went and hide it in one building,
Mm-hmm.
and that building is situated near a filling stations,
Okay.
and also there is garage around that place for the cars. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, around 6 p.m. in the evening, it busted and it got fire.
Yeah.
Actually, it takes good intervention. If not, even the fire service will not contain it. It will cause a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
And there was gas plant also around the structure.
Yeah.
It is a serious catastrophe, but thank God there was no loss of life, but there is loss of property worth millions
Mm.
of naira.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's always very sad. So we'll be covering today unit 5, 6, 7, 8 on building coal forest fires. And so we start with the building fires. So, no, I think we have got the wrong slide here. Yeah. So you see this fire accident in a squatter settlement in the shanty town. You can say shanties, the towns and cities. So general fire accident takes place in cities also. Industrial fire accident, forest fires, all these take place. Okay. What is fire? How does it take place? Have you any idea? See, you must understand before you can fight it. So there is a fire triangle, it is called. So it requires three things. So it requires oxygen, it requires a fuel, and it requires an ignition. Isn't it? That's very simple. You all know. Without these three things, you can't have fire. So you have to, in a uh, prevention, you have to be careful about these three things, and you have to stop these from coming together when you want to prevent a fire. So combustion is when fuel reacts with oxygen to release heat energy. So when it combines fuel and this, and then heat is required, so more heat will be released by fire. So it will catch fire. So combustion can be slow or fast depending on the amount of oxygen available. And combustion that results in a flame is very fast and is called burning. Combustion can only occur between gases. That means these fuel has to gasify because of the heat. Then it will be able to catch fire. So by knowing this, you will then be able to understand how to stop it or prevent it, not let it happen. To keep the fuel away from oxygen from the source of fire for starting it ignition, and or once a fire taken place, cut off the oxygen, remove the fuel. That is some of the ways. So mostly it is cutting off the oxygen generally by or cooling it also, because it is a you see, we are calling that it is the gases. So once you cool the fuel, again it won't vaporize to catch fire. But the best method is to uh, snuff it. Snuff means like smother it, smother, snuff. Like if you smother a person, you are murdering him, isn't it? But here you smother the fire by stopping oxygen to it. Okay. Now, what could be the causes of fire? Let us see on this triangle, fire triangle, which we learned earlier as three things. So it has a fuel, it has oxygen, it has a flash. So either you can you can cool it, you can smother it, or you can starve it of the fuel. You can smother it of the oxygen, cool the flash. So fire is a rapid, self-sustaining oxidation process. So anything where oxygen is used is oxidation, generally chemical process, accompanied by evolution of heat and light of varying intensity. So it has fire has is a very important thing for us. We whenever we want heat, we have to have fire, isn't it? Most of the times, like heat for cooking, heat for industries, and also fire is used for light. Also, you use a candle, uh, hurricane lamps, and all, which are fueled also. So fire results from combination of fuel, heat, and oxygen. When fuel is heated up to a certain critical temperature, this critical temperature is called ignition temperature. So it will ignite and consume to burn as long as there is fuel, proper temperature, and supply of oxygen or air. Uh, Air has how much has oxygen? How much oxygen? Any idea? What is air composed of? Any you know? Air has oxygen. Yeah. And what are the other gases? Air has about, you can say almost, I think more than 70% is oxygen, 70 to 80, and the rest is nitrogen. And less than 1% is all other gases. Okay. So now you have also know the term ignition temperature. So fire triangle typically represents this. Combustion process are exothermic and rate of heat release is rapid enough to sustain continuous reaction. Exothermic means thermic related to heat. So exothermic, something which gives out heat. Opposite of exothermic is endothermic. Uninhibited combustion chain reaction is essential for the fire to continue. This fire should keep burning by this process, chain chemical process. So fighting a fire is actually the process of breaking up the chain reaction. So this could be achieved by taking out heat, cooling. So when you throw water, so it cools down also. Taking out fuel, that is starvation. That is, you remove the burning thing, whatever is burning, you remove that, and so there's no fuel left to burn. Or by taking out oxygen, that is smothering. Breaking up the chain reaction by chemical flame repression will extinguish the fire. So it can be a flame repression, it could be a, cooling by water. So there are many types of this thing. But it has to be appropriate, like you should not use water on oil fire, because then the oil will come up on the water and it will spread. So once something is burnt down completely, the fuel is burnt down. Say the wood. Wood is the fuel. If it burned down, can it catch fire again? Just think and tell me. No. Mohammed, very good.
No.
Okay. So why it can't catch fire again? Because the fuel is complete. Isn't it? The fuel is not left. So this is also used some places like forest fires, bush fire, jungle fire. There they do controlled burning, you know, during the dry season. Small, there are fire lanes made. Okay, so these fire lanes are made in between the jungle. There's a gap between in the jungle. So that fire lane is also used as a track for vehicles to move. So this separates it and they burn little bit the grass and all underneath so that it doesn't catch fire again. And some controlled burning means under supervision of the forest guard or the forest fighter. It is a proper thing to do in the management of the jungles. So that is one means see how you can use all these techniques in helping you to be safe and prevent fires. Uh, now there is not much you can. Now there was a fire incident in India long time back in the we are talking about building fire. So incident of uh, in a school Kumbhakaram, there was a function going on in the school, and a fire took place, and a lot of people died. 93 children were killed, all below age of 11. So these are very sad tragedies. Then in 95, another school in South India, in Haryana, that is middle India somewhere. It is in Haryana. There was a function going on in the school. There was a school prize ceremony and all, and a lot of people had gathered or they were invited. So nearly 425 people died in that. The huge tents and all were made and things. So that also is a big problem was created. So do you feel your homes are safe? So you feel generally we like that our homes as the place is the safest place. So but 76% of all structure fires occurs in residential property, and 97% of structural fires are in so 97% of structural fire deaths take place in residential properties. And also in the homes, it is seen that the cause of fire, is cooking is the top cause, then open flames are left around, that also heating, then incendiary and arson, they also cause fire. Uh, Smoking also is a leading cause of fire. So, so you require to be vigilant against all these things yourself. So pay attention to what you are cooking. If you leave the room, turn off the stove. Don't leave it like this, it'll catch fire. Let's say there is some oil and cooking oil in it. So, so that also is you have to say. And don't cook if you're sleepy or if you're impaired. There is some physical problem. Nearly or so you've seen a lot of cooking fire there. So another thing is, if you see this, it tells you to keep flammable items away from heat source. That is from the stove. Keep a thing which can catch fire. If you see, or don't leave a cloth around or something. Cleaning cloth, cooking cloth, something that may catch fire. When clean your stove frequently to avoid grease buildup, and never put water on grease fire. That is also another very important thing to learn. That and smoking related fires. So avoid smoking. Don't smoke inside. Discard the smoking material in a proper container. Use heavy ashtrays. Don't improvise. Smoking is a lead cause of fire. That also creates a lot of. Then don't smoke in bed. That's also cause of fire. A little bit of it catches fire. You don't come to know it smolders, and then later on it turns into flame and can be very dangerous. And don't smoke if you are tired, taking medications, or if you have been drinking or otherwise impaired. You're not in senses because of sickness or maybe alcohol or maybe any other thing. So after a party, check indoor and outdoor furniture and cushion for smoldering cigarette butts. Nobody is left but because cigarette butts on the sofas or something. Now, proper candles also use. Be very careful on using them. Electrical safety, electrical short circuits also, or worn out wires, or they are under the rugs or furniture, they can be, or the power strips or extension cords. All these should be properly tested and approved type. Now, know the escape routes. You know, so whenever you are planning, also in all disasters, how will you evacuate? You have to know the escape route. Whether it is at a household level, school building, office building, big cinemas, um, then uh, all anywhere. I mean, in fact, any disaster, the evacuation routes have to be known when you're planning. Okay. So, so what are the safety things for fire at home or for buildings? You have alarms, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, fire extinguishers, residential fire sprinkler system, fire sprinklers into the in the buildings. So smoke alarm. Then for a smoke, so in fires, a lot of people die because the smoke alarm is not working. Even if the alarm is working, you will find still the death take place because of the smoke. Once you have know this is so, because breathing of smoke can kill you. Smoke is very toxic. So if you must escape through smoke, get low and go out. You can should crawl actually from the floor when in a room or a hall filled with smoke. So alarms should be properly placed, their location and all, and they should be loud enough that you can hear. They should be regularly checked, their batteries to be changed, and these alarms should be checked and then replaced in time. So this is carbon monoxide alarm. This is a high level carbon monoxide can be fatal and can cause death in a very short time. Another important thing to know about the equipment is fire extinguisher. So you should know how to use them if they have them mounted in obvious spots near exits. So there are different types of fire extinguishers. So A, B, C, D type. A type is for wood, paper, cloth, trash. B is for gasoline, grease, paints, and other inflammable. C is for live electrical equipment, and for D for combustible material. Now you don't mix it. So then there are fire sprinkler systems. They sprinkle the water. So these are also you should know. So if you have a fire, what to do? Call the fire department, whatever number that is there in your area, in your country. Report all fires to fire department. Even if you think you put them out, don't ignore alarms and stay. Once you stay out, stay out. Don't go back inside till they give you all clear. So many ways to reduce fire, which we have already covered. So now, what type of buildings would be more prone to fire disasters? Multi-story buildings and closely located houses. Isn't it very obvious? And what is the material in buildings which create fire hazard disasters? So, highly combustible material like wood, plastic, these are fittings, furnishings, cloth. They could be very highly combustible, so they are dangerous. Kerosene oil, cooking gas cylinder, chemicals, or paints. These are also fire prone material, and electrical equipment because they may have these plastics and all as insulations, and it may be also when they are being used, that is the time they can be short circuit or due to malfunctioning or some sparking, they will lead to fire also. So another thing to look at is what are the material in the building. Yeah, this we have covered. So what are the precautions for against fire hazards? Any idea? Can anybody read it? Who would like to read? Yeah, yes, please come. Tombe Silver, can you read, please?
Yes. Yeah. What precautions will you recommend against fire hazards? One, to keep the source of fire or source of ignition well separated from compatible and inflammable material. Two, to keep the source of fire or source of ignition under watch and control. Three, not to allow compatible or inflammable material to pile up unnecessarily and to stock the same as per procedure recommended for safe storage of such compatible or inflammable material. Four, to adopt safe practices in factories, coal mines, in oil stores, in chemical plants, and even in household kitchens. Five, to incorporate fire reducing and firefighting techniques and equipment while planning a house or building or an oil storage facility or a coal mining operations. Use of fire resistant or fire retardant material in construction is a good precaution. Even thatched roofs can be treated by such material to reduce fire hazards. 6. Construction should be as per prescribed rules. 7. To provide enough ventilation for air circulation so that artificial hot spots are not created. 8. To provide fire sensors and smoke detectors in multi-story buildings or important buildings such as bank vaults, archives, computer installations, libraries, museums, control rooms, airports, warehouses, shopping malls. 9. And stories and factories, 10. To provide adequate water storage and other firefighting material and equipment. 11. To train volunteer firefighting teams to manage till such time that professionals, firefighters arrive on the scan. 12. In case of forest fires, the volunteer teams are essential not only for firefighting, but also to keep watch on the start of forest fires and to sound an alert. 13. To arrange firefighting drills frequently. 14. To keep all electrical equipment earthed properly and to ensure its proper maintenance, including regular and strict inspections. 15. To keep industrial activity, especially that which involves fire hazards of any sort, away from residential areas.
Yeah. So I think these are very important points which everybody has to know, because we all can come to a dangerous situation someday or other, and we have to avoid it, be careful. So that's another important thing. So after reading this, can you answer this? Can there be any precautions for thatched roofs in the villages? So it was given here also, thatched roofs in the villages can be sprayed with fire resistant and fire retardant solutions. There are some mixtures which come chemicals which can be used. So now this was a little bit on the fires to understand. So let us, so anybody would like to ask anything on the fires? In fact, a lot of, there have been fire incidents. There's been a fire in one of these picture halls, movie theater, long time back. So there were a lot of lessons learned. In fact, that's also a very good case study in India. And it is like, and then after that, a lot of measures were taken, a lot of laws were made for that. Yeah. Tombe, Tombe Silva, yes.
Yes, just a quick one.
Yeah.
We have a very big challenge when it comes to this issue of fire in our country here. it normally happens during dry season, whereby the bushes, people normally burn them randomly. It is in a frequent basis, whereby once when we start dry season actually starts, you see bushes are it
So
just
that we will
get
cover
fired.
in forest fires, bush fire, forest
Mm.
fire. Now we are talking actually of building fires. So we said that we will be covering into four parts. First unit was on building fire, second on coal fire, third on forest fire, and fourth on oil fire. So fire fires, yes, you are right. So let me just wait for a little time. Today only we will be covering forest fire. So you bring out in that also. We will have your uh, view on that. Yes, Ivrasto Sikha Suanda. Am I right? You help me in correcting the how to say call you. If you find there is something wrong I'm doing, please let me know. Okay, yeah, come please. What do you want to say?
Yeah, my name is Evaristo.
Evaristo, yes.
Evaristo Sikasunda from Zambia.
Yeah, Evaristo Sikha Suanda from Zambia.
Y-
Very nice.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Uh, yeah, in 2017 to 2018 in Zambia, we experienced a number of fires that targeted markets. So they were termed market fires,
Yeah,
but mainly they were caused by I think careless electrical
electrical
fail-
short circuit, electrical failure.
yes, electrical
Yeah.
short circuits. And
Mhm.
also what we have talked about, it was discovered that there were some people that would spend nights in the market stores, and sometimes they would leave a candle uh, in the night, and it will start in one market store. The fires will start from one market store and spread almost to the entire market. So those we experienced, I think, around
Okay.
almost four big markets.
Yeah, negligence and leaving open fire,
Yes,
with candle,
negligence and
burning
open fire.
candle or burning something without
Yeah,
unattended. That's very dangerous.
yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Good. See, from these experiences, we learn lessons, and when we study about other places, so we can learn and prevent it in our own place. So this is what is also how you learn in disaster management. Also, when you are learning from others' experiences and from the earlier disasters should help you in learning and uh, not so that you have your better procedures. So next time it is not there. These problems don't come up. Okay, good. Okay. So let us, uh, uh, we'll cover these quickly, then we'll come back again. We will repeat it today if we finish it in time. Uh, Actually, best thing is if you have come prepared, you have any question, you ask me first, then I can cover that about the topic. But never mind, otherwise I'll cover myself. So uh, now let us see coal fire. So actually, mostly it is related to coal mines. So coal mine fires are caused due to spontaneous combustion of coal and carboniferous matter in the rocks. See, carboniferous is coal-like material. You know, it may not be very high quality for extracting it, but still it is combustible, can catch fire. So all coals, when exposed to air, undergo natural oxidation of carbon, forming um, carbon monoxide and or carbon dioxide and producing heat. So on their own also, the coal when it is exposed to the moisture of the air. So there also it's a. So if you see this picture on the right side, it is of across the globe. Hundreds of fire burn slowly, low and slow on dirty fuel beneath the earth. This carbon occurs, other things, these are dirty fuels. So they are smoldering for decades and even centuries, long time. There's all continuous fire in some coal mine. So in India, there is one coal mine. I don't know. There the fire is on for the last 100 years, for a century, you can say. But so these all this that's why coal fires are very important wherever there are coal mines. And I think coal mines are all over. In your place also, there are coal mines, isn't it? Are there coal mines somewhere in Africa also? Yeah. Okay. So these or even other mines also there will be sometimes. So these fires are known as coal seam. These are coal seam actually going in between. So that seam catches fire underground. So these fires are known. They occur underground when a layer of coal in the Earth's crust is ignited within the Earth. So if you look at the impact these coal fires have, so the combustion of coal is the largest contributor to the human-made increase of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So you are all aware of this pollution or problem of global warming or these things. So CO2 is also one of the causes, and it's a combustion of coal which is creating this. So for coal is also burnt for electricity generation in thermal electric power plants. So and coal burning produces twice the greenhouse gases per kilowatt compared to generating using natural gas. Means if the thermal power station was of natural gas instead of coal, then it would be having much less, it will emit these greenhouse gases. So pollution, these are also a very big important aspect of coal. Coal mining releases methane, a potent greenhouse gas. Methane is a so because these underground trapped gases are released when you mine boreholes and mine them. Now, uh, what are the hazards posed by fires in coal mines? So, burning fires destroy enormous amount of coal, thus destroying an important energy source. So, this is also one of the problems of fires in coal mine, that you are losing your precious mineral. Coal fires generate gases and soot which pollute the atmosphere. And if the coal miners are trapped in the fire, it becomes major disaster involving loss of life. That is another problem, that the miners also get trapped in this fire, and then there could be a flooding also. Because the mines are deep down, there may be like water also, subsoil water, or the water keeps seeping downwards or seeping inside, so it will keep flowing inside, and there could be much more. All these type of accidents could take place, and these take place in the coal miners trapped. So now let us see little bit on forest fires. So what you should know about fires is about its causes, forest fire, impact of forest fire, then uh, the geographically where they happen, the forest fires, then prevention, detection, and suppression. Some case studies of past fires to learn from, lessons that you can learn. So I'll just cover quickly some points. Some biggest forest fires of the world. So the Indonesian forest fire of 1997. It started in the middle of 1997, caused primarily by slash and burn techniques adopted by the farmers of Indonesia. See what they do. They burn the residual amount for the planting of the next crop. So this causes fire, or the forest is burned to make place for agriculture use. The fires in Indonesia began to affect neighboring countries as their thick clouds of smoke and haze spread to cover Malaysia and Singapore. From Indonesia, it covered the neighboring countries. So by the time, it was in summers in the middle of 1997, and by the rains which come there in early December, they brought some relief. But after that, dry conditions came, and the fires were again, they became a big menace, big danger. And in 1998, Brunei, another island, also fell victim to the smoke and haze of the fires, and to a lesser degree, Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines also experienced smoke and haze from them. So the effect of this fire on the Indonesian forest fires, it spread out to all the neighboring country and went on for a long, long time. Now, what is a forest fire? So you have three types: surface fire, ground fire, and crown fire. So surface is along the surface of the forest, floor of the forest, and moves slowly. It kills and damages trees. Along with it, the uh, wild animals also, especially the smaller ones, or the other ones, they get trapped. All fire. Ground fire usually started by lightning, and burns on or below the forest floor. So this is ground fire. One is surface, one is ground, and third is crown. Crown is the top of the tree is called the crown, the top portion. So ground fire spread rapidly by wind and move quickly by jumping along the tops of the tree. So this is on the tree top fire, so it spreads from tree top to tree top, and then it comes down also. Wildfires usually have a characteristics of dense smoke which travel miles. Lot of, like we saw that example earlier. Now, what are the causes of forest fires? So there could be possible scenario like natural fire such as by natural lightning or thunder, that the lightning also creates, if it falls in the forest and dry area, it will cause fire. Accidental fires caused by sparks from the wheels of the train. Yeah, the train railway lines are passing from there, and there could be some, dry material, leaves and twigs lying next to the railway line. So they catch fire because of the sparks from the railway line. So that could lead to fire. Then accidental fires caused by sparks on the wheels of the train. Negligence by cigarette stubs or matches. You light a cigarette and throw the matches like that. So the dry tinder there, it could catch fire. Arson in connection with profit seeking. Yeah, some people may like to, you know, illegally set it on fire to maybe to get something out of it. And suitable climate, dry climate, and high temperatures there that also would cause fire. So, an examples are Western Canada. Over 50% of all forest fires are caused by lightning. So, in Canada, it's mostly like by lightning. Spain experiences fires. Its dry climate and high temperature make it perceptible to natural fires in Spain and other areas there during the summers. So then it is estimated that 95% of fire stems from human activities like mishandling cigarettes, campfires, unsatisfactory monitoring of blaze, and arson. In the forest fires are by human, most of the cause. Let's have a quick look at the oil fires. Oil fires, so oil fires involve petroleum products. So handling large quantities of crude oil and petroleum products is highly hazardous operation because of inherent nature of the materials handled. They are highly flammable. Many of them are highly volatile and some of them are stored under pressure. So liquid oil do not catch fire. It is the vapor gas which ignites. Of course, we think that it's the liquid, but it's the on top it will catch when the vapors are there. So some oils catch fire very quickly. Heavier oils, they don't catch fire so easily. Oil generating sufficient vapor because of its property, low boiling point or condition, high temperature can result into fire when comes in contact with ignition source. You all are aware we spoke of the fire triangle. So ignition source are when and the loss from container may result in fire or explosion. Loss means it has leaked out or the containers overturned, spillage. So this causes damage to the machineries and the factories and other things and nearby property and people who are there. Now, if we look at the oil well fires, are oil or gas wells that have caught on fire and burn. So oil well fires are the ones which we can say they are very huge fires, so they require special disaster management techniques. They require specialists to handle. They can be the result of accidents, arson, or natural events such as lightning. They can exist on small scale, such as oil field spill catching fire, or on a huge scale, as in geyser like jets of flames from ignited high pressure wells. You know, the oil wells, the oil underneath may be under pressure and it comes out like a geyser. So, like a fountain, very big. So, that also can catch fire. So, impact of oil fire that it releases harmful substances again. All fires release, so but in case of oil fire, maximum is sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and lead. So these are all poisonous or very highly dangerous things. See, cooking oil and grease are not flammable, but when they reach their flash point, they will ignite quickly and burn intensely. So, if a fire comes in contact with cooking grease, whether in a bottle or spill, it will dramatically strengthen in mere moments. Very shortly, the fire will strengthen. It will increase. If this happens, then do not use water to extinguish this fire. Oil fire, do not use water. Don't use water fire extinguishers. Don't use buckets of water. Otherwise, generally, when there's a fire, you say, okay, everybody gathers and with buckets of waters to throw on that. But here, you can't. So, technique of reducing fire, oil fires, by taking out the heat, that is cooling, taking out the fuel, starvation, or taking out oxygen, smothering. Breaking up the chain reaction by chemical flame repression will extinguish the fire. So this is how various three techniques of the fire triangle can be used. How does a oil fire occur and how does it spread? So They occur by self-ignition also under condition of heat and no ventilation came, so inflammable oils. So where there is no ventilation, the fumes, they will keep getting concentrated more and more, as you know, they will be evaporating, and there's heat also. So it will, oil fires spread quickly by, as the burning oil spreads out quickly or gets sprinkled on other substances, because the oil will flow, or it will be, due to pressure, it will be sprinkling, will be thrown out. So that is. Now, what is the impact of fire disasters? Impacts are disastrous and long term. Loss of life and property is considerable. Then fire disfigures and disables the people very badly. So people get burned and disabled. Very, it's a very big trauma. Forest fire destroy valuable natural resources, including trees, plants, and wildlife, thus destroying the biodiversity. So this was a question in general. So anybody wants to ask something so far what we have covered? Okay. So we'll just go over it again. We'll go through our book. I hope you have all got the book. I will point out certain aspects of questions which can come. So you have seen the assignment? Yeah, okay. So yeah, we can see that, and anything is there. Uh, so I will cover that also. Yeah, okay. And assignments also you have got, and this also. So you should start working on them. So let's have a little break for 2-3 minutes, and then we'll start. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, should we continue the, yeah, okay. So you all are here, back, and see, uh, I want to say again and again that your book is the most important thing from the course point of view, because that is the syllabus. Everything in it is syllabus within your syllabus. We don't have separate. You won't find in this university any separate syllabus given to you with topics or anything. So these are the because the unique feature is to have this books for every course. So I'm sure you would be quite, you know, used to. You should start becoming familiar reading it and be able to understand our books, and everything is there. These are very helpful. They are very easy to understand. You can, and they are in a systematic manner. Okay. So I want to tell you in this what is the important, how we should prepare also, and in our exam how it will be coming. You know the pattern of the exam. All of you are
No,
aware.
sir. No, sir.
I covered yesterday also, but never mind. I'll tell you. Yeah. Uh, I don't know. You are. Yeah, I'm trying to share. Yeah, now it's come, I think. See, uh, assignments you already know. It's given there. You have, and you start submitting. It'll be very good. So whichever one you complete, you submit it. Then term and exam. So in your case, would probably be uh, multiple choice or objective type questions. They say. So there could be like, say, your papers of 50 marks, there'll be 50 questions particular case. If it is multiple choice, it could be. So every question has four answers, four choices given, A, B, C, D. So you have to select one of them, the correct one. And invariably, the last choice, D, A, B, C, D, out of that D would be none of the above. So So that means the choice A, B, C, D would be almost similar. It will look that all are correct. Sometimes it will look like that. So you have to, if you read thoroughly, then there won't be any problems for you to understand these things. So, so that would be how you can uh, understand these. So anyone wants to ask anything about how the questions come, or you are now more or less you know about it? You are clear, I hope.
Wanted to ask if it's possible that we can have past papers so that we can have a test. We can have a look of how the exams come like.
You possible look at what?
Past papers.
Paper.
Past papers.
Past
So that we
questions,
can
that is
practice.
what he mean. Ask questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh, yours is the first course. Past questions, if you look up, they are of different types. This is the because for your these are online courses. This is the first time it's happening. This online course for this particular PGDDM. So I have not seen the earlier such type of paper. So that's why I was mentioning it's a different type. If you see the earlier type of papers, they are more like your assignment questions. Okay. So earlier paper were generally um, 5 questions in part A, 5 questions in part B. All questions will carry 10 marks out of so total, and but you have to do two from uh, something like that. They could be say total. I don't know. Yeah, five questions you have to do. There'll be 7, 8 questions, something like that. 6, 7 questions. Yeah, 3 and 2, 5. Yeah. So you have to select the questions. So let's say there are 3 or 4 questions in part A and 4 questions in part B. You have to do two from one part and two from another. That means two from both and one from anyone. That was the earlier pattern. But now for you it is changed. So it will be objective type. So I will just show you an answer how it is. So now when you are reading this um, book, like it starts Unit 5, Building Fire. So always the structure is the first thing. It gives you what all it contains. So you see the main thing, learning objectives. So learning outcomes or objective gives you the uh, what all they are going to you should be understanding or you should know after you finish this. So once you have finished reading this, go back to this and see what it's asking. Do you understand that part? Like here, it is understand the cause and impact of building fire, types of building fire. So once you have finished this unit, then go back and check yourself that have you understood these this aspect or not. Then another thing is exam will not be open book. No, exam is not open book. The term and exam is not open book. Okay, you had one question.
Yeah, yes, sir. Like we that we are from this part of the world that most of the time there is network issue. So, and if the exam is coming on online and it happens that one have some technical issue with network, how will it be,
I
sir?
don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so. It'll
I
be
don't think so.
online.
It'll be online. Okay.
It'll be offline.
Offline. Okay.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah,
be
you'll be
asked to come to
asked to
some
come to
place
some place
and we can check
and
up.
we can check
I
up.
see
I
these things
see these
will
things will
one of this.
one of this.
Just
Just
mute your mic.
mute your mic.
Yeah, if you are not talking. Yeah, thank you. So you and the paper is of 90 minutes, 1.5 hours. So this is what I think.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, just quick one. I just
Yeah.
want to understand the mode of examination. Are we going to sit for it in our respective embassies, or how will it be done? And secondly, I'm also requesting that the timeline for this examination need to be communicated earlier, since most of us are from different countries, and secondly, might some of the students might be also working like in their respective countries. They are not in their capital cities. Others might be in a different places where issues of accessibility
Okay,
might
I've
be.
got your point. See, firstly, I won't be the right person to tell you this thing. The your course coordinator at Bhopal, Dr. Smriti and others, they will be able to tell you. We will ask them. You can ask them, put an email to them or something. They will answer that. But yesterday also mentioned, see your program guide. Program guide also mentions the university dates. They are common for all. So generally they follow it unless there is some specific change for, let's say, required for you. But otherwise, assignment date is 31st March. That's the last date given in the program guide also and the assignments also. And the term end examination is held in June. So and well in time, the date sheet will be given. All these instructions will be given to you well in time. How it will be done? It will be. I am quite sure it will be quite convenient how they will do it for you. So I will try to find out in due course and let me see. I am here with you for various courses. So I will tell you after about a few days then. Okay, I'll try. So let us continue with this topic of today. So what is very important is to understand about our, let's say, we are having this on building fires. So it starts with, in the introduction part, it gives you some historical fires. So they are very good to understand what happened. So they have taken different types of small case studies. So Bombay dock fire, dock yard, it caught the buildings and all caught fire there. So that was very enormous amount of fire which took place. And then so the ships and other things also were ablaze over there. And a lot of losses took place also in this place. Then there were other also. So fire accident in a Legislative Council AP, one of the states of India. And then arson fire of Vijayawada in 1964 and 65 due to arson. Then Gopwarpura fire near Vijayawada. So this was, area had these leaves roofs, thatched huts of leaves, and the temperatures were very high in the summers. May is a very, very warm period, and there also a marriage party had come, and so mostly the in that compound area there was only one exit. So people got trapped, and almost 200 people were killed in this fire. Then in 1980, a newspaper building, huge building, multi-story building in the capital Delhi caught fire. So it was noticed on the 14th floor, and fire started on the 8th floor. And again, huge fire. Cochin oil refinery fire, arson fire in Hyderabad. So like that, Hotel Siddharth Intercom Hotel fire. Again, you can imagine 38 people were killed. So, and then Upar Theatre fire. This is again a very huge fire. A lot of casualties were there, 57 dead. So all these, when the lessons are learned, you find that there was very, uh, doors were locked, exit routes were blocked, people got trapped. So all these things, now things have become better. laws are there after learning from this. So earlier they used to lock the exit doors and all so that people from outside can't enter without it. But now there's a rule not to allow this thing, so they keep guards only, but keep the doors open, not locked. So short circuits are there, which causes lot of then delay in the alarm coming or informing the authorities. The so lot of fires are there. So you must read through these. It will help you. And school fire in Kumbhakam. Now, so what we have covered also combustion, about when you understand fire. Combustion I covered on. Uh, Next thing is on carbon monoxide poisoning. Now, carbon monoxide is produced because of incomplete burning of the fuel. So instead of carbon dioxide being formed, carbon monoxide formed. Carbon monoxide is very poisonous, and you people who are exposed to it can get carbon monoxide poisoning. It is called. So actually, what happens? The carbon monoxide goes into the bloodstream, and the blood, you know, capacity to carry oxygen is reduced. So people get hallucinated, or it's like a anesthesia. So they become unconscious, and ultimately they can die also if the doses are more. Now, what is the characteristics of fire? So, uh, fast, it is fast, there's little time always. So, how to a lot of people die of injury in fire because these characteristics. Fire takes place very fast. It catches fast and can spread fast. It is very hot. The heat also is very injurious. Then dark. So where the fire takes place inside the room or some other place, it becomes pitch dark. It's not like you don't. It's not like a candle which is lighting it up. So people may get also blinded by it, and it is deadly. The smoke and the toxic gases kill more people than flames. Smoke is also, and the gas, toxic gases, because the substance which is burning, that produces a lot of very, very toxic gases. So building fires can turn into major disasters. Looking at these types of building fire. So one is urban fire. Now we can classify into this. So urban fires would mostly be originating because of electric short circuits or careless smoking, or in the kitchen where the ovens are there, or some naked lighted candle or flame or oil lamp or something left. Arson is also there due to rivalry, revenge, some malicious ignition, criminal people. And other things are like gas leak, sparks from machinery, spontaneous combustion, sparks from welding, chemical reactions, explosives, and fireworks, lightning, etc. Lightning falling also may. So these are the. Now, urban areas, some where there more likelihood is that if the area is unplanned and haphazard growth of slums are there, or the construction is unmonitored, haphazard, commercial and transport go downs, high-rise buildings, industries. So increase of fire load on all occupants due to usage of combustible and flammable materials. So fire load is means there are more combustible things in that area. Lack of organized water source for firefighting, that is another thing. Actually, and um, riots, arsons leading to fires, multifarious unauthorized and unusual usage of electricity. Illegal tapping of wires, of electric wires and all, they can be leading to fires by short circuit and overheating. Narrow and congested road and inaccessible to the fire engines. So, what is the response for major fire incidents? First is the crowd control at this scene, because a lot of people come there and they gather around it, not doing anything, not helping. So this crowd has to be controlled. Diverting the traffic from that area, they don't come near or create further chaos or go into further trouble. So local arrangements should be made to control this fire. Then organize local people to put out fire, call fire brigade and police, and rescue trapped and injured people. So that's also organize first aid in the case of death, arrange for identification and the medical legal things required. Then salvage the property, organize security of this property, investigate cases of arson or other crime committed, investigate the then collect evidence for all this. In case of mischief, catch the criminals. And if the fire is in a religious place, look after the communal peace in that area. If it is due to old enmity or revenge, take preventive action against the parties who are concerned in this. Now, we first spoke of this urban fire. Second is village fires. We are classifying it, but these could be overlapping also. Building fires in villages are much less than in urban area. So, due to these being more open, smaller buildings, distance between. But the problem there is that there is a lack of firefighting equipment, vehicles, and source of water, proper communication. All these could be the problem. They could be small villages far apart, and they are likely to lose their crops or harvest or food which is stored, produce which is being stored. So again, the causes are similar, like careless smoking, kitchen or oven fires, electrical origin fires, naked light, arson, and gas leaks, open fires, lighting sparks, and something like that. So, now, urban village fire, then third type of fire is electric fire. So your answer could be, let's say, uh, anything, any point which is different between village and urban fire, let's say. So there, that point could come in the question and say, okay, and but in the other part. So you will think that, okay, it may be applicable, but it may not be. So that way you can think of some things. So like fire in villages could be due to power generation station or power grid, and due to um, some, these are two which are in the electrical this thing, and third could be due to naked light. So Naked light would be the correct answer, because generally in the village, these generation rooms and those type generators are not there, isn't it? Or none of the above also. So that is how the question pattern could be like that. I hope you are able to get this. You have all got your books also, no? You have opened it, I presume. So you can see electric fire. It's given the causes of that, areas prone to electric disasters. Then thermal power stations. Now, what are thermal power stations? We spoke of them earlier. You all know. These are very huge uh, complexes, thermal power station, where the electricity is generated by thermal energy. Thermal energy would generally be coal, is most in India most commonly used. Now they are trying to coal is being called dirty fuel because it pollutes a lot, maximum pollution to shift to alternate means. So second is gas. So they are getting gas for this also. So, but these also are thermal power plants. Nuclear power plants are there, but very few, and lot of only very highly developed countries have them. Then in India, a lot of hydroelectric power plants are there, but then they are in the mountains where they dam the water rivers, and their electricity is generated. Now we are going in for a lot of solar energy. Now that is also given a lot of boost, solar and alternate wind energy to some extent. A lot of uh, research is done on this. Okay. So now thermal power plant stations, then transformers. So electrical energy, under the electrical power plant could be power um, co- types of fire, electrical fire, thermal power plant, transformers. Transformers, they break down, the insulation breaks down, they may be overloaded, they deteriorate. So they also have um, um, oil in it. By the way, what is a transformer? Any idea? We are using this word. Anybody can tell me what is a transformer? No, you not heard of transformer? Yeah, Francis Timoto. Are you there? You are here, able to hear?
Trans is direct current to AC to DC.
Transformer. No, 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 no. Transformer actually,
You mean a transformer that is used to generate, that is transmitting electricity to houses
yeah, a
from the
transformer is
substation?
not, it does not generate electricity. Transformers are in the distribution, electric distribution wiring, in the city or in the electric distribution system. They are in the grid, uh, basically. So, generally, the electricity which is coming is of higher voltage. And when it is transmitted from the power generation station to the cities, so um, the point where it is the brought down, the voltage is brought down, that is the transformer. It transforms the voltage. Basically, it can step up or down but what is we are meaning here is that in the grid system where the main lines are coming, uh, outside a urban area or a village or a colony group of houses, depending on the load, a transformer is put. So the main line comes. So let's say in our area, the voltage in the houses is 220 volts. What's the voltage in your area? I think it'd be 220 volts. So world over, generally it is 110 volts or 220 volts for domestic appliances, isn't it? So you are using in your house electricity. So your bulbs and your household equipment, electrical gadgets, they work on what voltage? Generally, it should be 220 volts, I think, isn't it? So,
Yes.
yeah, tell me.
Yes, sir. It's 220.
Yeah. So
And it
the
mostly come in three lines.
yeah,
It has
yeah, the
the red
feeding
phase,
line that is
yellow phase, and a blue phase.
so in the call in your colony, if you see, we are sometimes outside. There is a small power station, you know, where so in that there is a transformer there. They catch fire if they are not well maintained. That is what it is meaning here. So in all these systems, so generally it will come at 440 volts to the colony, and when they are being transmitted, this electricity which is generated the power plants and sent over the grid, national grid of electricity, there it is a very high voltage, maybe 44,000 volts, you know. So it has to be stepped down. Stepping up or stepping down is through a transformer. So these transformers are used at various places. So they are having oil cooled and things like that inside. So this oil may be old and that may catch fire. Transformers due to short circuit or catches fire. So that's also source in urban areas or electrical this thing. So industries fire, domestic use, all these places, electric fires you can get. Then and agricultural sector also, because they have the pumping sets are kept, which are electrical sets in where electricity is available. Then next type of fire is industrial fires. Owing to rapid growth of industries, there are increased enormous incidents of fires are coming from there also. So industry, there's a factory fire prevention officer generally. Another type is high-rise buildings. So they also have uh, they should have open space and provision for um, a fire exit, staircase, more than one, then fire escape routes outside, and many other things. Temporary structures are also very dangerous and they can also get this thing. So they should actually be with some fire retardant solutions, which is given here. Or what fire retardant is using alum, boric acid, borax, and ammonium chloride. So, what is the fire building fire safety also? We should be knowing. It's a very important point. So, fire precaution, high-rise building, and these could be the one of the points could be taken, and then that could come as a choice of question. Now, like LPG cylinders, so choice if it is given in high rise in let's say industries. So generally it will be in a domestic use, isn't it? So these things are very common sense also, but you can keep it here by reading it. All these things, do's and don'ts in detail. Objective type questions that come in the exams are very easy, but also very challenging because you should have read thoroughly. Then it becomes easy and very quickly then you can do. Fire protection for children's basic fire precautions in rural area. When we spoke of urban, rural, so specifically for all these. Now, do's and don'ts also for them. Now, what the government can do or doing on it. So we have building codes. So we have various departments. They have their responsibilities. They are building codes which lays down the uh, various things, how specifications for making the buildings, for plumbing code, electrical wiring code, fire code, heating, ventilation, air conditioning code. So all these are laid down. So these guys have to be followed. Then there are other organizations which are also working into this. Now, peace concept. So like question can come that combustible substance can is a food for fire, like this word is there, and then something else and something else. So this is the right choice. So you have to know this definition, which is given. Spontaneous combustion, supporter combustion, so it can be there. See, 1 point can, like spontaneous combustion, 1 point can be taken from ignition, one from spontaneous, one from supporter combustion. So naturally, the point which is there for spontaneous combustion is the right answer. So I hope you will be able to understand that also in this part, which is given. So if you see this coal fire, now, so here you have to understand what is a coal disaster. The coal causes an impact of coal fires and coal fire disaster management practices in India. So these are the practices which are all over the world. Now, causes of coal fire. So coal mine fires are spontaneous combustion of coal and carbonous material. So we had covered these things. Now, where can the coal mine fires take place? So fire-prone underground mines. Then all these places are listed here. Mines where sealed off area exists due to fire. Mines where sealed off area exists in which fire may occur due to breathing in of the air. Mines which have extensive old workings and not their sections are not been separated. So where all they have been found, underground fires which remain underground fires which have become surface fire in overburdened dumps, coal dumps, fire in coal benches in open coal mines. So they are open coal mines also. That's one of the techniques of mining. Fire in overlying rock mass, especially having thick cone bands and carbonous shale. And fire in coal stacks. So understanding this along with knowing the precautions and the impact of coal fire. So precautions during storage for and in for domestic, for coal in the industries where it is used, stocked, and how it is to be stocked. So it's given it should be along around 20 feet wide stacks. So in each stack should not exceed 200 tons. It should be less than that, and 8 feet height should be followed with 20 feet gap between them. So these are the things we have to know. So these can be given that the gap between coal stack can be 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet. So which is the right answer? So you'll be able to get the right, you should be able to understand the right answer in this, isn't it? So you have put some questions in the chat box. Fire prevention and preparedness plan is key when it comes to fire disaster. How India fares in terms of prevention and preparedness. Uh, there is a separate unit which is covering on planning. So that covers for all disasters. So I think you wait for this. Here you should understand about the each of the disasters we are covering, what it is, how it happens, what happens in it, and do's and don'ts for it. All learning, maybe some case studies of these in their various disasters which are mentioned there in that particular type. So, like Upahar gas in Upahar fire is mentioned just now in the building fire chapter. So that's also quite important. A lot of lessons are learned in that, and we are covering these also, the preparedness and response. See the precaution activities, like it's given here, impact we have covered. So there are volatile organic compounds, VOC. So these are released by the fire, hydrocarbons actually. So and these are also many other compounds which are released. So this is given uh, what all compounds or gases and matter which is given out by coal. Now this table over there is important, giving you the air pollutant, these seven of them, and its effect on human beings. Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, then hydrogen sulfide, then hydrocarbons, and what causes an ozone. So these are also, all of them are there. Then other things with cold fire are an hazard to a man and animal: lead, cadmium, arsenic, all these are poisoning. They get mercury, chromium, copper, zinc, and nickel. All these create different impact on different part of the body, leading to cancer. Now, impact on disaster in an environment is also quite a bit. So, fire is restricted to underground. The impact is limited, but when it comes to the surface of the coal mine, then it is very badly affected. Then, so you want to know about the planning. See here, it is given in the coal mine, the disaster management aspect. So, so you have to have life-saving equipment there, deployed rescue personnel, and so all these plans have to be there for deploying them and extricating them. Then also people should be knowing what should be filter self-rescue. There are filter operators which should be there. Then so one example is their Kinda disaster. Rescue chambers are there made. Uh, So they carry oxygen with self-rescuers kept there also in some places. This is also part of the. Now, some example case studies are there of the past disasters. So one is of the New Kenda disaster, which was a so this was in the mine where it happened because of the heating of the coal roof and the shaft airway got closed. So 180% were deployed to, but so there was a lot of smoke and other things, and it affected the people. Then second example is there of thermal power station where a major fire broke out. So what are the basic needs for disaster management? So we have it. So for the coal mines, actually causes damage to the mine and the structure on the surface, and these are directly affected to the safety of all those people staying there, along with land pollution and other things. So various phases of disaster management: preparedness phase, what information needed, uh, the relief phase, rehabilitation phase. So this is also listed here. Now, key concepts: aliphatic compounds, environment impact assessment. This is also very important. But particulate matters, PM10 and PM2.5. Just read, understand. If you don't have any, means if you still can't understand, you ask me separately next time. I will tell you. But you have to understand PM10 and PM2.5. In this, it is where for the ambient air quality. These are used. Now, similarly, we can go through the forest fires. So forest fires we had covered earlier. Now, what are the causes of forest fires? We are so all fires are due to oxygen, fuel, and heat, and so they play an important role. So how it is caused is that it's listed here. Then that various natural processes such as lightning start the forest fire. Human induced causes listed out: burning by contractors, local villagers, burning by villagers to make collection of this forest produce. Then campfire by picnickers, trekkers, shepherds, sparks from railway engines. We covered this, so I'm just showing you that it is there. Now, what is the impact of forest fires? Loss of life, loss of timber, loss of livelihood, erosion, soil erosion, degradation of the micro enzyme, degradation of water catchment areas, microclimate getting affected, increase in carbon dioxide, loss of carbon sink. Now, some examples of forest fires. So, a lot of states have with this forest cover. The more the forest cover, more they are susceptible to fire by in the forest. Naturally, if they have forest. So, you want to know disaster preparedness? It's given here. Prevention, detection, suppression. So, method direct, indirect for suppression, and all these are we have in detail explanations also for each of these three. Suppression for fire is very unique. So direct method and indirect method. So now case studies are there, past fires. So occurred in various hill areas of the north and other places in the country, all over, wherever there are forests. These happen in the dry season. So what are the lessons that are learned? Again, you find prevention of man-caused human-induced fire by education, environmental modification, prompt detection of fire through well-coordinated network of observation post, efficient ground patrolling communication network. Fast initial countermeasures should be deployed and vigorous follow-up action is necessary. Introducing forest fuel modification system as strategic point should be encouraged. So do's and don'ts are there. Now, concepts of carbon sink, ground fire, fire line, and firestorms. Then ground fires, JFM is Joint Forest Management. This is a unique feature here. Ozone layer, surface fire, and watchtowers are also there. So, concept of fire. Then this fourth unit today was oil fire. So here again, it's a unit where you will learn about the causes and impact and its this thing. So this we have covered already in our presentation earlier, but here in detail you'll be able to. So oil fire is loss of petroleum products due to that, or containment. That means either through the pipeline or through storage or traveling, transportation. It is decontained. So that way, this would be now effect of release of fire. Then possible outcomes of fire: pool fire, running liquid fire, jet flame fire, fire balls, BLEVE. It's called flash fire and explosive fire. BLEV and UVCE are two terms which are given in detail over here. So these are gas fires. So now it is dealing with all these effects: boil over, slope over. What is the impact of fire for uh, oil fire? Thermal radiation. So that is one thing. So it given understanding it in detail. What is the fire characteristics, flame surface flux, geometry of flame, atmospheric transmittance, flame spillover. All these are special. Overpressure, damage by BLEV, or damage due to explosion. There can be an explosion also in case of oil fire. So disaster management preparedness, uh, you can protection facilities should be evolved, and risk analysis need to be done, and proper then requirements are put in. So each of the things we saw earlier, so precautions against them like boil over and slope over. So in disaster management in the preparation, we have covered in response what is to be done, and then some examples of past disasters is there. So this is all that is there into this. Uh, so now we have very briefly covered all the aspects, all the four types of fire, four units. In each of them, uh, whatever we have been understanding about the causes, the effects, and seeing about the peculiarity of that particular fire, whether it's forest fire or building fire, and their disaster management in the preparedness, rescue, and response. So I hope it's you've been able to make out something out of it, because there is, if you look at it, yeah, we have covered four units, uh, each of them with their characteristics of each, how they're different from each other. Definitely, as the name also says, forest fire is very different from oil fire. And what are the causes for each? What are the effects of each? And the do's and don'ts. So these are very important things. So anybody would like to ask anything? Yeah. So you can now complete your assignment also on this. If there's nothing more, anybody want to say? Okay, then we can close for today. That's okay. Yeah, Gara Gara. What do you want to say?
Yes, I have no contribution, but I want to say thank you to you for the presentation, because the presentation is well understood and
Okay.
we are well appreciated. Thank you so much.
I'm very glad you are able to understand. My aim is that, and even otherwise, also, if you want to ask something about this, anytime we get an opportunity, please do so. Thank you
Okay,
very
sir.
much. We close
Okay.
now. Okay, enjoy your day.
Thank you, sir.
And
Bye for
okay,
today. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, welcome. Bye.
Bye bye.
All right, bye. Thank you.
Bye bye, all of you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prof.
Hello.
It seems like the class, most of the members are not there. Hello, Muhammad. Can you hear me? Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. Hello.